3. Anyway, hello, and this is not what I want.
Welcome to College Football Gridiron Report.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm having some issues here. There we go. All right, welcome to the North Florida College Football Gridiron Report. I am Marty Pallman, joined by Corey Davis. You see our Twitter handles on the screen. And we're joining you a little bit later. Our high school show went a little bit over. I was a little bit behind. But also, we had an interview with Bradford coach
Jamie Rogers.
Yeah, Jamie Rogers was with us too. So we appreciate him coming out. Tonight, we're going to talk college football. We'll probably go a little bit past 10 as well. A lot to talk about. We're going to have Kevin Brockway of the Gainesville Sun coming on at 9:30 to talk about, well, he covers the Gators. So we're going to talk about Billy Napier's situation, the Florida situation as well. Going into the bye week, as he said, he likes Idle over Florida this week.
Idle by 28. Yep.
Idle by 28.
Marty, I want to ask you a question. Do you like cupcakes?
I love cupcakes. I love cupcakes. Well, look at me.
What's your favorite kind of cupcake? Red velvet, carrot cake, vanilla?
Actually, I kind of like the vanilla.
Okay.
Or carrot cake.
Me personally, I'm more of like a ho-ho. The chocolate with the
like
white
ho-hos.
filling in the middle. We just bought some of those because those were on sale. My point of saying that is, some of these schedules you've been seeing in college football are ridiculous. Ohio State opened up. Ohio State didn't play nobody since. Penn State 3-0 hasn't played nobody. Hasn't played a real team. They finally play a real team at home. Oregon this week. This week. That's the game day game. That's the game day game. Penn State Oregon hosting Oregon.
That's gonna be a good game. Yeah, Saturday night.
State's up on Alabama. Alabama has played East Texas A&M, Kent State. Penn State. Penn State beat Villanova. Ohio State has beaten Grambling and Ohio. I'm tired of cupcakes.
Well, you're tired. Who gets tired of cupcakes, though? I mean, geez, you can't get tired of cupcakes. But I'm sure people are tired of watching. Yes.
But on the flip side, Florida, which is struggling, 1-3, a nationally ranked South Florida, LSU, and Miami. Their only cupcake has been Long Island.
Yeah,
and Texas, which has struggled also, has won undefeated LSU, Georgia Tech, one loss.
So Syracuse only lost game to Tennessee.
Some of the teams that are struggling are playing real teams. Some of the teams that are winning are playing cupcakes. I'm just tired of it.
Right.
I want to see real games.
It gets a issue. They travel to Virginia Friday night. It'll be a little tougher, and then they get Miami coming up the week after that. Miami's going to have a bye before them, but. And then as you said, Penn State's hosting Oregon. But Ohio State, it doesn't get a whole lot harder for them this week either. They have played Texas, as you said. Texas will come to Gainesville next week. But, yeah, it has been a little bit. Yeah, it has been a little bit of a – we've seen some good games. We've seen some, like –
But the top teams, the top five, may have played one good team, but the rest of their games have been cupcakes. And it's just like – we are into week 5.
We're in week 5.
Week 5. I want to see real games that matter, that make a difference, and we're hopefully going to see that this weekend.
I see you have breaking news here. So we'll say, among the breaking news, I guess you could say, it was announced yesterday. Mike Gundy, he's a man. He's fired from Oklahoma State.
I didn't realize he'd been there 21 years.
21 years since 2005. He was tied for the second longest tenure in college football behind Kirk Ferentz at Iowa. He was tied with who is it? Now it escapes me. I have to go back and I heard the name and it should be very, very familiar.
I can't think
I don't know. I hate it when that happens.
Not Wake Forest.
No.
What conference it was in?
No. It's escaped me for now. Somebody in the SEC. I'll tell you that
it's not Ohio State, Michigan. It's not one of those.
No. So
might be the Minnesota coach. He's been there a while.
He hasn't been there that long.
Oh.
I'm gonna have to go back.
I'm guessing it's a non Power 4. I'm guessing. But anyway, they lost to Tulsa 19-12. It was the first time that Tulsa had ever beaten Oklahoma State, and for enough people. That was like, all right, he's out the door. I mean, they were only 1-2.
Yeah.
But he's the third coach. By the way, he's 170-90 in 21 years.
Yeah. Actually, and he's
pretty good record.
He's been coached longer than Dabo's been at Clemson. He started in, I think, 2008, 2009, somewhere in there.
But he's the third coach to be fired. I mean, the other two got fired a week ago. So, I mean, we're talking 3 coaches within 4 weeks.
Right.
Also, the SEC and the ACC kind of both caved in, going to 9 conference games. But it comes with a cost. Florida has dropped games with NC State, Cal, Arizona State. Games against Colorado and Notre Dame were also in jeopardy. They have not been officially declared no longer playing, but they're on the ropes. I did want to talk to you and ask you about, they also went to 3 permanent games. What do you feel about Florida doing Georgia, South Carolina, and Kentucky?
I don't like it. I think Florida should always play Georgia and Tennessee at least. Right. I could understand maybe South Carolina. I don't understand Kentucky. The football and basketball, heck yes. In basketball,
we've been playing Kentucky for a long time, though. We play them every year.
But I mean, it's just, to me, it's not a natural rivalry.
But South Carolina, to me, is not really a rivalry either.
See, I feel like since Spurrier went there, it became more of a rivalry with South Carolina. And maybe it's because of how close they are too. I always kind of liked South Carolina, but the interesting thing next year is Florida has Oklahoma at home, and they are at Auburn, at Texas.
Ole Miss at home too, I think.
Yeah, Ole Miss comes in, who did last year. This year they go to Ole Miss. But
Vandy back on the schedule.
Yeah, but that's but anyway, they go to Texas again next year. They just went there last year, and they get Oklahoma home for the.
We have to go to Kentucky again.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense either. How can you go 2 years in a row like that? I don't get it. But anyway, they should have made sure that happened. But
so because of this, Chris Lowe from CBS Sports wrote a nice article about rivalries in the SEC that we will no longer see. We'll occasionally see, not like every year. We're losing Alabama, LSU. We're losing Florida, Tennessee, Georgia, Tennessee, Arkansas, Ole Miss. We play LSU every year. As far as I can remember, that's become a rivalry, and we're also losing Arkansas to Texas A&M. So that's some of the casualties of going to 9 conference games.
Yeah, as you say here, the SEC caved into the pressure, and we'll go to 9 conference games. ACC now will also go to 9 games.
Yeah, they just yesterday said that they were going to go to 9 games.
Florida dropped games. Alabama canceled a home and home with West Virginia in 26 and 27. Florida dropped games at the NC State. That's too bad. I kind of wanted to go to Raleigh. 2026 and 32. Cal, kind of wanted to go to Berkeley too. 2026 and 27 in Arizona State. So no trips out west. 2028 or 31. So far, they're keeping Colorado in 2028 and 29, and Notre Dame. That's still a ways off.
Well, that could be in jeopardy. We don't know yet.
I have a feeling they'll try to keep the Notre Dame on that because, I mean, it'd be great to see Notre Dame come to Gainesville. I mean, that'd be kind of cool to me. But and Gators go to South Bend.
The last time they played, was that Sugar Bowl?
It's the Sugar Bowl. Yeah. They haven't played. They've never played in Gainesville. They've never played in South Bend. So,
yeah, now that I think about it, yeah.
But yeah, they have 3 permanent games for all 16 teams. Alabama has Auburn, Tennessee, and Mississippi State. The first 2 of those make sense. The third doesn't. But I guess Mississippi State needs somebody.
But they've been playing since like 1928.
Mississippi State and Bama?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's understandable. Arkansas, and of course, this is the issue with Arkansas being so far out west. Missouri, Texas, and LSU, which Arkansas and LSU are rivals. So are Texas and Arkansas. That makes sense.
I was surprised it wasn't Oklahoma.
Yeah, that actually would make a little more sense too. Auburn, it's Georgia, Alabama, and Vanderbilt. And again, the first makes sense. Vanderbilt, somebody's got to play Vanderbilt, I guess. Florida gets Georgia, South Carolina, and Kentucky. Georgia gets Auburn, Florida, and South Carolina, which honestly, Georgia, South Carolina isn't. They don't get Tennessee either, and that's the other thing. It's Georgia, Auburn, Florida obviously are the biggest rivals. Kentucky gets South Carolina, Tennessee, and Florida. Those make sense. LSU, Arkansas, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. Interesting, but why not Texas? But they get Texas A&M, or as you put ATM. Missouri, Arkansas, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Alabama, and Vanderbilt. Interesting there, Vanderbilt. Oklahoma gets Texas, Ole Miss, and Missouri. Texas, Ole Miss, and Missouri. Yeah, there's not really a rivalry with Ole Miss and Oklahoma. That's interesting. But again, they're out west, so Texas obviously makes sense. Ole Miss gets Mississippi State, LSU, and Oklahoma. Gotcha. Okay, South Carolina, Georgia, Kentucky, and Florida.
I hear you now.
That's weird. I don't know what was going on.
I had the volume. I could hear you, but it was so faint.
Okay.
I'm going, so there's a reason why I'm not really hearing him.
All right.
And I realized on my headphones that I had the volume down.
Okay. Tennessee said Alabama, Vanderbilt, and Kentucky. Okay, I get it. Kentucky's a rival. Vanderbilt's a rivalry. Okay.
Do you remember when they used to play for the Bourbon Barrel?
The beer barrel.
Yeah. The Bourbon Barrel. Yeah.
No, I think it was
bourbon.
Beer.
They changed it when the guy died from the car.
He died in
okay. Yeah, well, actually they got rid of it when that guy died, but it was the Bourbon Barrel because they both make bourbon.
Yeah, Tennessee and Kentucky. That's true.
Yeah.
I thought that was the beer barrel. Somebody had that, but Texas had Texas A&M, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. Texas A&M gets Texas, LSU, and Missouri. Of course, A&M and Texas are going to play. And Vanderbilt gets Tennessee, Mississippi State. Vanderbilt just gets 3 teams that have to be thrown in there, basically. So outside of Tennessee. Chris Lowe for CBS Sports, he said so long to Alabama, LSU, Florida, Tennessee, Georgia, Tennessee. We just had a great Georgia-Tennessee game 2 weeks ago. Arkansas will miss, Florida, LSU, and Arkansas, Texas A&M. Anyway.
With some of these, like Arkansas, Texas A&M, Arkansas, Ole Miss, pretty sure those are rivalry trophies. So now instead of seeing them every year, we're going to see, every 2 to 4 years now.
Yeah, something like that. So we'll be alive tonight at Before Brady's in Stark, celebrating 40 years. Before Brady's located on US 301 here in Stark, right across the street from Bradford High School. And again, they have their triple meal deals every night. A starter, meal and fries, and fountain drinker iced tea, chips and salsa house or Caesar salad starting at $10.99. Also specials every night. Wing Wednesdays tonight, traditional BOGO free boneless. They have Ultimate Taco Tuesdays as well. And Burger Mondays for $7.99 all as well every night. There's something at Beef's here in Stark. All right. Well, we are going to be joined in just a few moments here by Kevin Brockway of the Gainesville Sun. We're going to get into the Gators situation after that awful loss to Miami. I mean, you can't say anything else other than that. It was terrible. They were just beaten in every part of that game.
As bad as they played, though, if you remember,
they were in the game.
It was a touchdown with 4 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Miami went on another level the last 4 minutes.
Yeah, they did. And they dominated on the line the whole game. Florida's defensive line cannot handle, or Florida's offensive line cannot handle that. But so let's start as we look last week, and this game surprised the heck out of me. Memphis down 18 comes back to beat Arkansas 32-31. This is not a game Sam Pittman wants to lose. I think he's in trouble again. Because, again, Arkansas is dominating this game. They're going down to kick a winning field goal, and they fumble the last 30 seconds of the game.
Second straight week this has happened. Remember? Because they were going to beat Ole Miss, and they fumbled.
Yeah. So Memphis is 4-0. This game is at the Liberty Bowl, Memphis. But Arkansas now 2-2, lost back-to-back games close. Anyway, they were trying to win that game late. This game surprised me, too. Texas Tech went into Utah. I don't think I've seen Utah get beat this bad at home in I don't know how long. 34-10. Texas Tech unbeaten, 4-0, 1-0 in the Big 12. Utah 3-0, 0-1. It was 10-3 going into the fourth quarter. Then Texas Tech just blew them away.
Yeah, that one surprised me when I saw that. That it was a close game, and then all of a sudden it became a blowout.
This was another surprise, although maybe it isn't, because I think Clemson is just not very good this year. Syracuse goes into Death Valley. This game was delayed like 2 hours by weather, too. And really led the whole game against Clemson. And they win 34-21 in their ACC opener. Clemson's 0-2 in the ACC, 1-3 overall. Dabo Swinney haters are going to be out now. You better believe it. Last week he said, if Clemson wants to send me on, I don't want to win anymore, they can send me on my way. But this doesn't exactly prove his point right here. But
yeah, I actually watched that game last week. I watched it before and after the delay when they finally came back on. And actually because of the delay, they moved it to a different channel.
That's who it was. He was tied with Kyle Whittingham for the second longest tenure. Utah. Okay. He's been since 2005, right? Sorry.
But
I just noticed that.
Syracuse won this game because they were more aggressive. You know, they were able to run the ball and throw the ball all over Clemson. And Syracuse coach gambled a couple times on fourth down. And you got to keep Clemson's offense off the field. And then when Clemson did get the ball back, they scored to make it, I guess, a 13-point game. they had a couple of chances to make it a closer game, potentially come back, and Syracuse's defense shut them down.
Yeah, they did. So Clemson in some trouble, 0-2 in the ACC to start, and 1-3 overall. Biggest game in the SEC last week, Oklahoma. It was a good ball game. Beats Auburn 24-17 in Norman. You wrote Jackson Dart goes back to Norman. He really comes back with win. What does that mean?
Well, because he's the quarterback at Auburn. They played at Oklahoma.
No, Jackson Dart. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. His name is
Jackson Arnold.
Arnold. Yeah, I was surprised. Like, Jackson Dart's playing for the Giants. He's not at Ole Miss. Yeah,
Jackson Arnold.
Yeah, Jackson Arnold. Sorry. Yeah, he did. Now, here's the only problem with this for Oklahoma. They get 10 sacks in the game. They've lost John Mateer for 3 to 4 weeks, maybe, with a thumb injury. So they're unbeaten, but they kind of paid a price.
But I heard people on the radio, on the internet, Sirius, talking about this. He's out 3 to 4 weeks, but the schedule sets up to where
they have a bye week and then somebody they should beat.
Other than Texas.
Yeah.
He would probably miss the Texas game. But then they don't play anybody.
Yeah.
So
that's true. It's actually not a bad point in the schedule.
He might come back and I think they said against Ole Miss.
Yeah, you're right. It's not a bad part of the schedule for them, except Texas. Yeah. But they get a win with 10 sacks, 24-17 over Auburn. Duke knocks off NC State 45-33. It's Duke's or NC State's first loss of the season. They're 3-1. As Duke outscored NC State 24-13 in the second half.
I watched that game too, and Duke threw all over NC State.
Yeah. Miami, of course, 26-7 over Florida. We'll talk about that hopefully in a few moments with Kevin Brockway. It was 13-7 with 4 minutes left. Canes put it away. They go to 4-0. They have a bye this week. Florida does as well. They're 1-3. This game shocked me too. I mean, I was actually looking more forward to watching this game Saturday night than Florida-Miami. Indiana, 63-10 over Illinois. I just couldn't believe that. Indiana, they had something to prove, and they proved it.
It was a one-score game.
Illinois is the number 9 ranked team coming.
Yeah. And Indiana goes on a 35-3 run. Illinois just couldn't stop Indiana at all.
Right. So, and then Missouri over South Carolina, 29-20.
Sellers was back, and he played okay in the game. He did his best to try to keep South Carolina in the game.
Yeah, he did. He did, but he did come back. When Missouri gets the win to go to 4-0, South Carolina's lost now 2 in a row as they've dropped 2 as well to whoops, I need to do that. Hold on.
Hey, I know that guy.
So yeah, I didn't mean to put him in like that, but here we are. And Kevin, can you hear us?
I can hear you guys fine. How is everything in
can't hear him.
Beautiful Stark at Beef O'Brady's? You guys having a good time?
Of course we are.
I can't hear him.
I can hear. That's fine.
Really? Okay. Go ahead. Just go ahead then.
Kevin, can you not hear Marty at all?
I can hear both of you guys. Yeah.
Okay. So he can hear you.
It was me. I just don't hear him. Okay. I don't know what that's about. That might be the worst thing in the world. No. Anyway. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with this, but well, Kevin, we'll just go ahead and do this anyway, even though I won't be able to hear what you're saying. I'll let Corey translate maybe for me. But so,
it's like he's speaking Spanish. I got to translate for you.
Yeah. Kevin, with the Gainesville Sun, of course, he is the Gator beat writer. Has been covering basketball, the national title, now covering football. And well, Kevin, you got a chance to go down to South Florida last week and see the game. I know we don't always advertise this, but I know you're a UM grad, so maybe things about that. But I know this is something you probably get asked a lot, but I mean, at this point, what does Billy Napier have to do to keep this job? Can he keep this job at this point?
I think it's going to be really tough. I mean, I think short of running the table this season, but again, I think the Florida fan base is going to be frustrated with the slow starts because this is 4 years in a row where you failed to go 2-0, you failed to capture that momentum in September. It's becoming a trend. And I think with the way the schedule sets up, it's just going to be tremendously difficult for them to salvage. I think they're the odds are greater for them to go 1-11 at this point than they are for making the college football playoffs. So it sets up that difficult. And certainly, listen, it's the open week. Billy saying the right things. There were a lot of rumors swirling about DJ Lagway this week. He was in a boot. But Billy just basically called it comical that he's thinking about opting out. He's been practicing all week. And they're hoping to find some answers during the open week heading into Texas, and hoping that maybe it will result in a much better October. But Eli, Arch Manning has not been setting the world on fire, certainly in Texas. So you have that game back in the swamp, then you go to Texas A&M, and then you get Mississippi State at home for homecoming. I think they're going to have to hope that they can get some magic in the open week like they did last year. And last year it was the defense. This year they're going to hope to figure out the offense and maybe carry some momentum into October. And I think that's, Billy's main chance to salvage his job is if they can make incremental improvement. But it has to really start on the offense around the football. I mean, 3 touchdowns the last 3 games isn't going to cut it.
So basically what he said was, I feel like I'm trying to translate it. They have to run the table for him to keep his job, and it's more likely that they go 1-11. And basically, there needs to be changes on offense. DJ is obviously in a boot right now.
I think they said that there was a 5.5% chance that the Gators could go 1-11, and like 3.5% that they could win out. Yeah, so something like that. But you're right; it's a better chance they lose out. Go ahead.
And basically, he's looking forward to basketball more than this.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of us are at this point. But go ahead, Corey.
I'm done.
You don't? Oh, okay. So, the Lagway situation too is interesting. I don't think he's forgotten how to play quarterback. How injured is this guy? I mean, he just looks like. Well, let's be honest. Last year, he came in at the end of the year. He wasn't exactly, the greatest quarterback. He played okay. He played well enough. Their defense really played well. Is this guy? Is it that Florida kind of got sold a bill of goods here, or is he actually? Is he talented and we can't see it because of this offense, maybe, and because of his injury right now?
I think it's a combination of factors, and I think not even Marty, maybe a sense of the injury now, but the lack of off-season development and the challenging off-season he had because of the injuries, because of the fact that he couldn't throw in the spring, he couldn't develop that chemistry with the receivers, and then you go into fall camp and you miss the first 3 weeks of fall camp with the calf strain. So I think that certainly factors into it, the fact that he didn't have the offseason development. I think, he looked a little gimpy the first couple of weeks of the season, but I think the last couple of weeks he's looked a little bit better physically. But I think, I think you do have to question the play calling too and all of this, and the fact that, listen, last year when DJ burst into the scene, when Graham Mertz was hurt, what did he do well? He threw the ball deep incredibly well. And we're not seeing it. We're not seeing them take shots down the field. And I don't know, whether that's his arm or what the situation is. But I think that's been a big frustration of Florida fans. The fact that 12 completions of 40 yards or more last year. This year he only has 1. So I think that's something that you have to wonder as far as taking the deep shots. Now listen, offensive line has not played well. Also. That's factored into it. Protection, they faced 2 pretty fierce defensive fronts in LSU and Miami the last 2 weeks. So they're going to have to protect better. And Texas, has a pretty good defensive front as well.
Okay, so here's the problem. Apparently there's a volume dial on my headset.
We both did this. I did this during the high school segment.
Yeah, there's a volume dial on the headset, which I did not know. This is new. And so now I can hear you. Sorry about that. I'm having one of those nights. This is a new show. I'm getting loose used to things here. I forgot to hit go live earlier, so one of those nights. But Kevin, I appreciate you coming on with us tonight. This is a fairly new show we're trying to get going here, so we're just talking. We talk high school and college football, but so coming off that game. Well, again, when you cover the team like you do, when you're around them every day, do you notice is Billy Napier's attitude changing? Is he still? Do you think he still has a lot of hope, or is he kind of just? It's hard for me to say it, but does he feel like a dead man walking at this point?
He's trying to keep the focus on doing his job and solve problems.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's been talking about. But I think the Florida fans are fed up with the problems to begin with, right? I think that's the frustration. It's year 4. This team should come out a little better off the gate compared to, where they are now. But that being said, that's the situation they're in right now. So he's keeping, basically the focus on that. I mean, I do sense a little bit of nervousness and anxiety even today on the SEC teleconference call. But I think, he's trying to keep a positive attitude and just keep the focus on, helping the players the best he can. I mean, can he do it? I think that's the big question, right? Is he capable, or can they figure out what's wrong with this offense? But he's not going to cede the play calling, which obviously is something that a lot of fans would like to see him do. But he has been resolute in that he's going to still be the play caller on the staff. And I don't know. If it doesn't work out, he's going to sink or swim with it, basically, because we haven't seen much evidence throughout his tenure. That he's the next Steve Spurrier as far as a play caller, and that's been an issue as well, certainly, in terms of the imagination of the offense and the ability to call the right plays at the right time. So, but we'll see. I mean, he does have time. Maybe they'll find some answers during this open week. Again, the offensive line has got to play much better. Maybe Dallas Wilson coming back off the open week. He looked so good in the spring game. Maybe that'll provide a spark as well. That's a potential. We don't know about J. Michael Sturdivant coming off what looked to be a head injury in that Miami game. We'll find out next week about his availability, but certainly that Dallas Wilson will be a guy, if he comes back, could have a potential to spark the offense at the wide receiver position.
We're talking to Kevin Brockway from the Gainesville Sun here. Kevin, this team's 1-3, but if you go back and look, South Florida came down to a final drive. Gave up, pass interference, another late flag, which led to the game-winning field goal. LSU, another close game. Miami was a one-score game with 4 minutes to go, and for whatever reason, this team cannot win close games. What is going on with that?
Well, I think Corey, it's a matter of finishing, certainly, and I think that. And there are a lot of factors that go into it. I think you have to give credit to Florida's defense for keeping them in those games, right, and how they've played. And certainly if there's a bright spot, it's that the defense is carried over. And there's been a lot of injuries on that side of the ball. I mean, Caleb Banks was arguably your best defensive player, and he's been out most of the time, and they've still played fairly well. Now, they're not getting much pressure on the quarterback. But Miles Graham has played very well at the linebacker position. Cormani McLean, certainly in the secondary, has played very well. They've done some good things on the defensive side of the ball to stay in some of these games, but ultimately, that can only carry you so much. You need the offense. You need to sustain drives. You can't settle for field goals in the red zone like you did in that game against USF. You got to score touchdowns. So I think that's kind of the big focal point, and that's what's going to get Florida over the top. Is that Billy Napier talks about complementary football, but certainly, part of that compliment is the offense and the special teams play as well. I think Verdell Brown has shown some dynamic ability in the return game, and that could maybe bear fruit as that goes on. And Trace Mack, had the hiccup in the Long Island game, but he's been a fairly consistent kicker since then. Tommy Doman punted the ball well in the Miami game. So that phase has been okay, and the defense has played at or maybe even above expectations given the injuries. It's just the offense is stuck in this quagmire that Billy Napier and their staff is going to have to work out of during the bye week.
Yeah, and he keeps talking about, Coach Napier, about how close we are, and that's what Corey just said. Oh, close or close. But fans, I think, and you hear,
well, it's not like they're getting blown out.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if you listen to the radio in Gainesville, and I live there too, Kevin lives in Gainesville, the fans are tired of hearing we're close. They're just tired of hearing about it. I mean, and it's understandable.
We're right where we want to be.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's hard to prove that after a while. That's the thing. Yeah. But the play calling deal, is this just I don't find Billy Napier to be very arrogant, honestly, but is this kind of a arrogance thing? Like, I'm sorry, I call plays and I'm going to solve this. I'm the only one who can solve this problem at this point.
I think Billy has a little bit of hubris about that, because let's not forget, probably about 15 years ago when he was very young, he got kind of his start as an offensive coordinator and a quarterbacks coach at Clemson, and he got fired by Dabo Swinney. So I think that's a scar that still holds. And then he goes down to a school like Louisiana, and it works for him as the offensive as a head coach and the head play caller. So he figures, well, if it works at Louisiana at the Sun Belt level, it's going to work in the SEC. And that has not been the case, certainly. And I mean, even last year, Lagway did have some dynamic moments, but the offense overall was 12th in the SEC out of 16 teams. And people seem to forget that in the first half of that Tulane game, I mean, they only scored 6 points in that bowl game. And they pulled away in the second half. Tulane was playing a backup quarterback. So I remember writing a column then saying, hey, look, maybe this offseason is a time for Billy to see the play calling. I had heard there were some behind-the-scenes efforts for that to happen, but Billy was certainly resolute in the fact that he wanted to hold on to it, and he could, tried to convince the administration he could handle it. But he is clearly not handling it the first month of the season, and it's got to get better quick, or it's going to ultimately cost him his job.
All right, I got to ask you one question before you go. I need a prediction: Alabama or Georgia?
I think Georgia wins at home between the hedges, and I think there's a track record for Kalen DeBoer as far as, their road performances have not been good. They have not been a good road team under Kalen DeBoer. I think that trend continues. I think certainly they looked obviously a little better against Wisconsin, but apparently Wisconsin was playing a backup QB in that game. So I don't see them going into Athens and winning that game. I think Kirby, Gunnar Stockton, listen, I was talking in the offseason, I was probably basing it off the Notre Dame game and the bowl game, where I kind of thought, does Gunnar Stockton really scare anyone? But he's been very good. And I think a lot of that, in retrospect, probably had to do with Al Golden and the Notre Dame defense last year, which played really well. But I think this year, Gunnar Stockton is showing to be a much better quarterback than I thought. And considering what Georgia has around him and how they play around him, I think they're probably the favorite to win the SEC again this year.
Yeah, that Tennessee game, I think, changed a lot of people's minds about Gunnar Stockton, maybe, but it sure looks like it to this point. But all right, Kevin, well, before we let you go, basketball season is coming up. And, I guess everybody's kind of looking forward to that around here. But, just what, real quick, what do you think about this team and a chance to repeat? I mean, I know obviously injuries can happen, but I think talent-wise, this Florida basketball team is going to be right up there again.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think, most preseason projections have them top 5. I mean, I think it's going to be them, Houston, Purdue, all in the mix. I think Duke with the Boozer twins will be back as well. I mean, they'll be pretty good in a down ACC. So I think Florida's right there because, I was on another podcast and, on paper, Florida returns 2 starters, but they really return 3 starters because Tommy Houck, 6-man, he was a guy that, started some when Alex Condon was hurt. And he's going to play the wing this year, and that's going to be fascinating to see him out there. He certainly has a lot of skill as a passer, as a shooter out there. I think there'll be, some questions about, whether he can defend out there against smaller lineups, but he's certainly going to give you effort out there. And the flip side of that is the rebounding, too, having that kind of front line, 6'9", 6'9", 6'10", that's going to cause a lot of other teams problems. So, I think they're in good shape. I think the depth is a little bit of a question mark because now that Houck moves in the starting rotation, who are some of the guys that step off the bench? Is it Micah Hanlogden? Is it Isaiah Brown? Is it Alex Brown? Todd Golden said that Alex Lloyd, the freshman from Fort Lauderdale, Westminster High, has had a really good summer and a really good offseason, and they think that he could be a guy that steps up. And then obviously the backcourt, I think Xavier Lee and Boogie Fland are both talented guys. Might not be, the same kind of perimeter guy as Walter Clayton or Will Richard is. Very few are. But I think that they will bring other aspects. Boogie's a very good on-ball defender, and he's got a lot of flash to his game, New York City point guard. And Xavier Lee apparently had a really good summer as well and is an exceptional passer. So I think that they will bring that to the mix as well.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a basketball question since you followed the team all last year and the San Antonio everywhere. And we talk college football, but I'm already in a better mood now that you talked about basketball. So. Well, Kevin, tell everybody where we can see your work.
Yeah, at Gatorsports.com, at Gainesville.com. I'm on X, Twitter at Kevin Brockway G1. And feel free to follow me and find me. And I hope you guys are enjoying it up there in beautiful Stark, and keep on doing the great work you do covering the high school sports.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and yeah. All right, good luck to the Mets this week.
Not looking good, Marty.
I'll see you later. Thanks, Kevin. Okay, that is Kevin Brockway on the Gainesville Sun. Somebody must be running my board again because they just disappear without me doing anything.
When I was trying to get your attention, that's what I was talking about because it kept moving.
Yeah, I think PC is in here again. Philip Crutchfield.
Dang PC!
It's like a ghost in my computer. A good interview though with Kevin Brockway, and we'll probably try to get some other guys to talk college football as the season goes on. That's the first time we've had an interview. My apologies. Again, I'm just learning how to do things. I didn't realize there was a volume control on my headset, so I couldn't hear
That's what I was saying. Why I couldn't hear you?
I couldn't hear you
because
either,
my
really.
volume was down.
I just saw the thing going. Anyway, all right. So we're running up about 10 till 10. We're going to go past 10 o'clock tonight, but we were a little bit behind anyway. Looking back at some scores from last week, Tennessee over UAB 56-24. Vols are 3-1. Oregon 41-7 over Oregon State. Ducks are 4-0. Beavers are 0-4. The Badgers of Wisconsin got blown out at home by Maryland 27-10. Maryland 4-0. Wisconsin 2-2. TCU wins the Iron Skillet 35-24 over SMU. Iowa wins at Rutgers 38-28 in the Big Ten. This was a good ball game. Michigan 30, Nebraska 27. Nebraska's first loss of the season. Michigan now 3-1. That was the Big Ten opener for both. Ole Miss again with a backup quarterback. Trinidad Chambliss 45-10 over Tulane. They're 4-0, but LSU this week at home. Saturday night we're going to have LSU at Ole Miss and Oregon at Penn State. Should be fun.
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina, ouch. They go to Orlando, get blown out by UCF 34-9. North Carolina 2-2 now. Mississippi State, unbeaten. They're 38-10 over Northern Illinois. Notre Dame gets their first win, 56-30 over Purdue. They're 1-2. They play Arkansas this week. That at Arkansas, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's a tough one there. LSU 56-10 over Southeast Louisiana. They're 4-0. Finally, a good outing for Arch Manning. Texas 55-0 over Sam Houston. They're 3-1. Vanderbilt, they're 4-0. They're ranked. They scored 70 points for the first time in 107 years, 1918. They beat Georgia State 70-21. Georgia Tech 45-24 over Temple. The Jackets are ranked 16th. They're 4-0 now. They will play out Wake Forest this week. Virginia over Stanford 48-20. They win their ACC opener over the Cardinal. Now they host FSU this week. More cupcakes, yum for FSU, 66-10 over Kent State. And speaking of food, the Apple Cup goes to Washington big time, 59-24 over Washington State. It's a weird time of year for that game to be played, but of course because of the conference issue now. Yeah. This week, sorry.
I was just saying, because they're no longer in the same conference.
Right. This week's games, only one game on Thursday night. Army at East Carolina, 7:30 on ESPN. Friday night, FSU 3-0, Virginia 3-1. That'll be on ESPN, 7 o'clock. This is another big game in the Big 12. TCU and Arizona State. Arizona State wins at Baylor on the last play on a field goal, 9 o'clock on Fox. They will host TCU, who's come out the win over SMU. It's their Big 12 opener. And Houston and Oregon State, 10:30 on ESPN. Saturday getting going early at noon again. Georgia Tech, another noon game. So we always play at noon. They will be at Wake Forest. Wake Forest 2-1. 0-1 the ACC. Tech is 4-0, 1-0, noon on ESPN. USC 2-0 in the Big Ten, 4-0 overall. They beat Michigan
Playing
State
at 9 a.m.
Last week they played at 11 p.m. Eastern. This week they're playing at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific.
I actually stayed up and watched that game against Michigan State.
I did not, but
it was a great game.
Yeah, USC looks good, but Illinois did not look good against Indiana. They were blown out, so they need to come back against USC. That'll be the Fox game at noon. The ABC noon game, Notre Dame at Arkansas. Both teams kind of coming in struggling. 1-2 for Notre Dame, 2-2 for Arkansas. Somebody's got to get a win there. Rutgers in Minnesota, noon on the Big Ten Network. Duke and Syracuse, noon on ACC Network. Louisville and Pitt, noon on ESPN2. Cincinnati and Kansas, TNT game at noon in the Big 12. Vanderbilt, they're probably going to go to 5-0. They'll host Utah State, 12:45 SEC Network. This is an interesting game. Ohio State, a little bit tougher game. They got to go to Washington, who's unbeaten. Washington hasn't really played anyone yet, but that'll be the CBS 3:30 game. Again, it's an odd game for CBS, you would think, but Ohio State at Washington.
Big Ten game.
Yeah, it is. Big Ten. Ohio State's got to go out west. LSU, Ole Miss. Oh, pardon me. That's the 3. I thought it was a 7:30 game. I thought it was a night game. Oh, it's Alabama. Georgia's at night. My bad. You're right. LSU at Ole Miss. So that'll be the best 3:30 game. 4-0 and 4-0 both.
I don't know. The next game too.
Auburn, Texas A&M, and Auburn coming off the loss to Oklahoma. They're going to need to win this. You're right. That's the 3:30 game on ESPN. A&M's SEC opener. Ole Miss already 2-0 in the SEC. Indiana and Iowa. That'll be at 3:30 on Peacock. Indiana coming off that big win against Illinois at Iowa, who won their opener of the Big Ten at Rutgers. Cal Boston College, 3:30 on ACC Network. New Mexico State, New Mexico rivalry game there, 4:00 on Saturday. No television apparently.
Nope.
Arizona, Iowa State in the Big 12, 7:00 on ESPN. Arizona's conference opener. Iowa State won their conference opener. They're 4-0 overall. Virginia Tech and NC State, 7:00. CW game of the week in the ACC. Tennessee and Mississippi State. Interesting ball game because Tennessee already has lost one conference game. Mississippi State's SEC opener. That'll be on the SEC network at 4:15. Okay. And then the Saturday night games. Oregon, Penn State. Oregon 4-0. Penn State 3-0. Oregon has won a Big Ten game. Who did they beat in the Big Ten? I remember that at this point. 7.
It'll come to me.
7:30 on NBC. Yeah, so remember that. Wasn't Oregon State. Anyway, Alabama and Georgia, the Tide lost their opener, of course, to Florida State. They've won 2 in a row since then. Georgia comes in 3-0, 1-0, and the SEC a bye after the win against Tennessee. That'll be a 7:30 ABC game. UMass at Missouri, so Missouri will be 5-0 at 7:30 on ESPNU. And then one of these teams needs a win. Kentucky 2-1, 0-1 SEC. South Carolina 2-2, 0-2. The Gamecocks probably need to win more than the Wildcats. That'll be the 7:45 game on SEC Network. So,
looking forward to all those games, especially those 7:30 time slot.
This is gonna be a good week. Last week was kind of odd. The night games weren't as good as I thought they were going to be. The afternoon games were a little better. The 3:30 games weren't bad. But
well, I think what spoiled it for us was Indiana blowing out Illinois. We had so much hype in that game.
Also spoiled us as Florida playing like they did against Miami, but that also was a problem on Saturday night. All right, before we do the picks, Corey, tell them about Beef O'Brady's.
Oh, okay.
Do you mind?
Yeah,
just
sure.
one more time. Okay.
Of course, they got the triple meal deals. $10.99, you get an Angus cheeseburger and fries, crispy chicken sandwich and fries, or 6 jumbo wings and fries. For $14, you get a Cuban and fries, 4-handed breaded chicken tenders and fries, 10 jumbo wings and fries. For $17, a 6-ounce sirloin and fries, 12-ounce grilled or blackened or ham breaded shrimp and fries. Say that 5 times fast. Or an Angus double cheeseburger and fries. Also comes with chips and salsa, a house or Caesar salad, and your own drink. Also, today is 99 traditional wings. Or if you like boneless, it's BOGO. Buy 6, get 6 free.
All right. Sounds good. That's Beef O'Brady's. We will be soon. 40 years of beef. So we're, of course, located right here off 301 in Stark. We're right across the street from Bradford High School. I want to thank Bradford head coach Jamie Rogers. He joined us in our high school show. Again, every Wednesday night, 8 to 9, we have the high school football gridiron show here on North Florida Sports Talk. And then from 9 to 10, we bring you college football every week through football season. A little bit later tonight, we'll go past 10 o'clock because now it's time for our picks. How many games did you put on here this week? 6, 9, 12?
Well, there was a lot of good games.
16 games. I know. Wow, we're going to be.
We did 16 last week.
That's right. Go ahead. What were the records?
We both went 9-7.
Well, didn't solve anything.
Speaking of Southern Cal was the last game, and we got that win there against Michigan State.
Wow, we're 9-7. Oh, we missed that many.
Which means you are 35-22.
Like a game
I am
behind you.
36-21.
The game
So I have
behind
a
you.
one-game lead.
So nothing changed last week. God, I didn't realize I missed that many. Okay, well, we had a little bit of a struggle in the picks. Week 1 was the worst, but all right. So let's go ahead. I guess I'll start with college. We'll get going here, and I start on Friday night. Florida State at Virginia. I think you and I already talked about this game. And since I know what you said already, honestly, I want to pick Virginia. I really do. This is one of those games that feels like it'll prove more to me than Florida State beating Alabama at home will. FSU, I'm not completely sold on Virginia at all. I'm going to go with I don't really want to do this, but I'll go with the Seminoles to win this game.
Not so fast, my friend.
Go ahead.
We talked about this. I remember 95 clearly in my head. Tiki Barber stopping Warren Gunn on the goal line.
Ronnie Barber, yeah.
Or Ronnie Barber.
Tiki was the running back, yeah.
Virginia's not a bad team.
No.
And this is one of those weird games where, just like Florida State doesn't play well on the midweek games. I think this is an upset. Go Virginia.
Right. So there's a difference right there. TCU at Arizona State. Well, I picked against Arizona State last week with Baylor. Arizona State won. I picked Arizona State to beat Mississippi State. They lost there. I picked Baylor to beat Auburn. That didn't work. So let's see. TCU, Arizona State. I did have TCU beating SMU last week. So, hey, that worked out. But, again, I like Arizona State. And they're finally getting a home game. They're finally getting a road game for the Sun Devils. I'm going to take Arizona State to win this game at home.
I'm going TCU.
Okay. Why? You don't have to.
Just because they've won close games.
Right.
They've shown that, hey, we are a good team.
Yeah. Okay.
I know where we're both going to this game.
Yeah, Georgia Tech at Wake Forest. I'm not going to go against the Yellow Jackets now. I mean, we picked them to beat Clemson. They had no problem with Temple. Wake Forest, not a bad team. Their only loss coming to NC State was close, but even though the game's in Winston-Salem or at Wacky Forest, as they call it, I'm going to take the Yellow Jackets again, not going away from the Ramblin' Rick.
Yeah, no surprise here. I'm going with the Ramblin' Rick for Georgia Tech. All right, we got Duke and Syracuse.
This would be a really good basketball game. This would be a really good basketball game in the ACC.
Syracuse coming off the big win over Clemson. Duke coming with over a big win at home against NC State.
Back to the Dome for Syracuse. Duke did have a win against NC State, but they're a little bit different team on the road. And Syracuse is coming off that road win. I'm going to go with the Orange at home in the Dome.
If this game was at Duke, I'd pick Duke, but I'm going with Syracuse too.
Yeah.
Even though Syracuse did lose their quarterback.
That's right.
They had to play backup.
Yeah. Another ACC game here, Louisville and Pitt. I honestly don't know. Pitt lost to West Virginia. I think that's their only loss. Louisville is usually a good team. They're 3-0. Yeah, Pitt only has one loss. This game is at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. Not Heinz Field, Acrisure Stadium, whatever they call it now, the Steelers Stadium. I'm going to go with Louisville on the road. I think they get the win there in their ACC opener.
Pitt's playing at home. I'm going with Pitt.
Okay. I'm sure that might work out for you.
Because Pitt ain't.
Yeah. Eat. Pitt, yeah.
All right, Cal and Boston College.
I
think Cal's on a roll right now.
They are. They beat Minnesota. They're unbeaten to this point. Boston College lost a close game to Michigan State on the road. That's their only loss, I believe. So, yeah, that. BC's won.
Actually, they've lost twice. Yeah.
They lost an ACC game. Okay.
Yeah.
Cal has one loss. Who did they lose to?
No.
Did they?
I think I watched that game too.
Yeah.
It wasn't Stanford, but it was a West Coast team.
Yeah. Cal at BC. West Coast team comes east. You know what? I'm going to go with BC home to win this game.
All right. I'm going with Cal.
Okay. Virginia Tech at NC State. Well, the Hokies are a mess. I mean, they've been a mess. They don't have a head coach. They have an interim coach. NC State, 3-1, got their first loss last week to Duke. They're back home. Wolfpack win this game.
No surprise there. I'm going with the Wolfpack too.
Notre Dame and Arkansas, two places Lou Holtz used to coach, both those places. I don't know if I've ever seen Notre Dame play Arkansas before, especially at Arkansas. That's going to be an interesting game. That's why I hope Notre Dame can come play Florida here, because that'd be kind of cool. But
by the way, speaking of Lou Holtz, we mentioned this last week. FAU played at FIU, and I was like, "Oh, it's the Don Shula Bowl," and you're like, "No, I think it was Howard." No, actually, it was Don Shula. It was the Don Shula Bowl when they played each other the other day.
Why it's the Don Shula Bowl? Well, it's him being the Dolphins coach all those years. I don't know what he had to do with those programs, but okay. All right, Notre Dame and Arkansas. Whew. Well, I picked Notre Dame to beat Miami. I picked Notre Dame to beat A&M. That didn't work. At Arkansas beating Memphis. I don't like either of these teams right now, honestly. But this is in Fayetteville. Arkansas was close to beating Ole Miss. They were close to beating. I'll take Arkansas. I'm going to go with the Hogs this time. The bacon bits.
Give me the bacon bits.
Yep. Tired of picking Notre Dame anyway. Usually like to do that. Oh, LSU at Ole Miss. Yes. There we go. There's
one of the best offenses against one of the best defenses.
Now, my question is the quarterback going to be back for Ole Miss, Simmons, this week? Although it's been fine with the backup, Chambliss, the last 2 weeks against Arkansas and against Tulane, but that'll be a little bit different playing LSU. You know, I want to see Lane Kiffin here coaching the Gators. That would be my choice. This guy can coach offense, and I'm just not impressed with Garrett Nussmeier at this point. You're right. LSU's been winning with defense, but I don't think they're going to have enough to score and win this game. I like Ole Miss at home.
Okay. Not so fast.
Really?
LSU got one of the best defenses in the country. Their offense doesn't score a lot of points, but that's because their defense is so good.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, it's gonna be a close game, and that was. But I like Ole Miss. I just at home. Auburn, Texas A&M. Well, Auburn. Another tough road game for them. It's A&M's SEC opener. Auburn lost to Oklahoma. I think A&M wins this game at home. Don't tell me you're going to take Auburn.
I'm going with Auburn.
Wow.
They showed me a lot against Oklahoma.
It's a lot of differences this week. Okay. Yeah, they did play. You know what? You're right. I think you're almost talking me into this one. They did play pretty well last week. Yeah, you know what? I'll change that. Give me Auburn. I'll take Auburn in that one. Tennessee, Mississippi State. Well, Mississippi State, their schedule gets a little bit tougher this week. They're 4-0, but now they get the Vols. You know, despite the loss to Georgia, I was pretty impressed with Tennessee in that game. And even though this game's in Starkville, Mississippi State's better there. I'm taking the Vols to win this game on the road.
I can't disagree. Got to go with the Vols.
Alabama, Georgia. I would like to pick Alabama here, but I don't trust them yet. Their 2 wins against Wisconsin. The Wisconsin win doesn't even look that good anymore, honestly. And they lost to FSU. Georgia coming off that Tennessee win. They have a bye week. I'll take the Dogs at home. Saturday night in Athens, I'll take Georgia. No, really? No way.
Unlike Kevin Brockway, who picked Georgia.
I'm pointing at you.
This is why I asked him that question, because I wanted to see where he was leaning to. Not so fast, my friend. Alabama is a completely different team since that loss to FSU.
Are they?
Yes. They murdered Wisconsin.
Again, who's Wisconsin? I mean, Georgia.
Well, up until last week, Wisconsin was only 1 loss. That was their only loss. And then Alabama played Cupcake 2 weeks ago. So I know Georgia beat Tennessee in a close game, but give me Alabama.
Okay. Kentucky at South Carolina. Somebody needs a win here. The Cox get it at home. They're 0-2 in the SEC. They beat Kentucky. Get their first SEC win.
Yeah, you got the North Sellers. If he's healthy, I like South Carolina to win this game.
Yeah, he played pretty well against Missouri, actually. He was okay, but Missouri just outscored them in the end as well. All right, we're moving away from the SEC and into the Big Ten now, because here's the game of the weekend, maybe in the nation. Probably is the game of the week in the nation. Oregon at Penn State. Wow. Love these games.
It's a whiteout, too.
They always have.
I heard that today. Well, no. Normally they save the whiteout for Ohio State.
Night games or big games. These two teams played in the Big Ten championship last year. It was a shootout. Oregon won that one close. I think it was in Indianapolis. This game, though, is in State College. It's Saturday night at Penn State. You know what? Penn State, I picked them to play for the national title, and I'm sticking with it. I like Penn State to win this game at home against Oregon.
It's going to be weird seeing this game on NBC, by the way, too.
That's true.
I thought for sure this was
an
SEC
ABC.
game.
Yeah. And some reason Fox didn't take this game, but they would have had to put it at noon. I'm not sure if NBC
because
gets the
Fox
choice
has.
sometimes. They have another game that isn't as good.
USC, Illinois.
Oh, that's true. Well, that's not as good, but still, that's the noon game. All right. Ohio State at Washington. 3-0 Buckeyes. 3-0.
Whoa. Slow down. You picked Penn State, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
didn't pick that.
Oh, I thought you did. Sorry, you said
give me Oregon. Penn State hasn't played nobody.
Who's Oregon played?
Oregon's been tested.
By who?
I don't remember.
Oregon State.
They played
Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State. Who they beat
at least they're
69.
playing big time schools. Penn State hasn't.
This game's at Penn State though. I want to see Oregon go east and win this game, but Ohio State. Okay, sorry. So we'll move on. Ohio State, Washington. I mean, yeah, the Buckeyes have to go out west, but I don't see them losing this game, even in Seattle. I'll take Ohio State.
I agree. And I don't. Doesn't matter where Ohio State plays. I think they're one of the best teams in the country.
USC at Illinois, as we just talked about this game. Trojans 4-0. Illinois coming off that loss to Indiana. Yeah, I picked Illinois to beat Indiana last week. That did not look good. USC looks good. They do. They do look good. And I know this is a road game. They got to go to the Midwest. But I'll take the Trojans. I got USC winning this game on the road.
Like I said, I watched their game the other day against Michigan State. And they went up and down the field. Michigan State actually cut that game to a one-score game, and USC ended up beating them by 2 or 3 touchdowns. Give me Southern Cal.
Okay. And then finally, Indiana at Iowa. I'm not taking Kirk Ferentz in one of these kind of games. Again, I think I learned my lesson from seeing Indiana beat the crap out of Illinois last week, even though the game's at Iowa. But kind of Iowa, the question with Iowa is, can they score enough points? I don't think they can. Indiana wins this game at Iowa.
Can't disagree based on what I saw last week. All right,
All right.
we go.
18 games. Wow, we're going to have a good week there of games to watch here on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So,
and we'll go 10-8 this week, most likely.
probably.
Actually, no, we had several differences.
Yeah, we do. There's a lot. So,
Separation Saturday.
Okay. Well, we're a little bit past 10, but that's okay. We start a little bit later, so we appreciate everyone who was watching today. And thanks to Kevin Brockway, the Gainesville Sun, for joining us. Enjoyed him as a guest. Thanks to our producer, director, Philip Crutchfield, as well, for checking in on us tonight. Also want to thank Beef Brady's and Stark, as always, for allowing us to come here. I think this is our 6th show. Yeah, we went through part of August, all of September. Next week, we'll be in October when we come back here. So, it'll be October 1st. So we will look forward to that next week as well. All right. So for Corey Davis, I'm Marty Pallman saying so long. And you've been watching the North Florida College Football Gridiron Report here on North Florida Sports Talk. Have a good week. Enjoy the games this weekend. We'll talk to you next Wednesday, 9 to 10, more college football talk. Good night.
Good double blow. I was like, damn, they put on the radio that quick. Yeah, it makes a difference when you turn the volume up.